Hey everyone, so today I'm actually going to be doing a requested video and I'm going to try to incorporate these more to this channel. So if you have any ideas about topics or themes or any questions you would like answered on this channel, please do leave them in the comments below because I will be doing more videos like this in the near future. So yeah, just let me know what kind of content you would like to see more of on this channel. That would be very helpful. And again, thank you for 19,000 subscribers. We're slowly creeping up there to 20,000 and that's just mind-blowingly insane. I don't even want to think about it too closely because that's just, whew, that's crazy. But anyways, as I said, today I'm going to be doing a quest on the topic of, can I visit Finland without knowing any Finnish? So I've gotten this question a lot and I haven't really delved into it yet, and I know the timing of this is a little bit weird because obviously right now we're all going through a time in our life where we can't travel. So I know a lot of people had plans to come visit Finland either this summer or in the near future, and I'm sure those plans have gotten canceled or postponed now, unfortunately. But let's all hope and pray that this situation blows over and things start taking a turn for the better as soon as possible. I mean, Finland's always going to be here waiting for you, so even if it takes a few years longer to visit, we're always going to be here to welcome you with open arms, so don't you worry about that. Let's just, try to get through one day at a time at this point. But anyways, I thought, since this is a pretty reoccurring theme that comes up in my questions, I thought I would address it now. So right off the bat, my answer would be absolutely yes. I myself am bilingual, so I speak English fluently, and to be honest, sometimes when I'm in a group of friends, international friends, I forget to switch back to Finnish and then I'll just use English in everyday situations. Happens sometimes, not that often, but every once in a while. And to be honest, even with my foreign friends that don't speak any Finnish and they've been here for years and years, there's not really been that much of a problem because I would say almost a large majority of Finnish people speak decent conversational English, and decent being, the minimum level. Most people speak phenomenal English and you will get by just fine. So that's the short answer. The long answer, if you want, a more in-depth review of exactly where English is used and how good the level here is. Like I just said, I would say almost the large majority of Finnish people do speak English well enough that they can interact with you and talk with you in English just fine without any problems. Honestly, I can't remember a time, I'm mainly speaking about Helsinki area, like Uusimaa area, and as well like the Turku area. Those are where I've had my most, or where I've, hung about the most. I can't remember a time when someone wouldn't have known English. I mean, I think if you start going to the above 70-year-olds, such as my grandma, she doesn't speak English very well. I mean, she can understand decently, but definitely her Swedish is better. But if you go like under retirement age people, I would say English is very widely spoken. I would say you will have zero problems finding people to speak English with in the Helsinki area. The farther away you go from Helsinki, of course, the higher the likelihood will be that people won't speak English, especially if you go to smaller towns that are not very touristy in particular. So I feel like if you're gonna run into a problem, the likelihood would be in those types of towns where there's probably not a lot of tourists, and I guess maybe the average age of people there might be a bit older, and like just smaller towns that are, more Finnish, I guess, not as international. Those are the places where you may run into problems, but I would say overall you will not have trouble getting by with English whatsoever. I know plenty of people that have lived here for years and they only know English and they've not had many problems here at all, and they kind of live in an English bubble where you really don't need much Finnish to interact in your day-to-day life. Now, English is taught in school starting from first grade. So when children are 7 years old, they start learning English. I guess that might play a role in it, and I suppose as well a lot of Finnish people say a large part of it is due to TV and media influences. So, for example, on the TV, a lot of the shows are in English, like a good over half, I guess, or at least half of the shows are in English, and none of them are dubbed over, so none of them are, dubbed over in Finnish, so they'll have the Finnish subtitles, but they'll keep the English language. Same thing with movies. If you go see any movie in the theater in Finland and it's not a children's animation, it'll be in the original language, so most of the time that'll be in English, and then you'll just have the Finnish and Swedish subtitles underneath. As you might be aware, Finland is a bilingual country, a Finnish-Swedish bilingual country. But I would say these days, at least my feeling would be, unless you're in a Swedish predominant area, I think you'd have an easier time finding people and communicating with people in English rather than Swedish. At least that's my feeling of the situation, that if you would go up to a restaurant and try to order in English, you would have a much easier time than if you were to just go up and try to order in Swedish. At least that's how I feel, at least people my age definitely, I think, speak English better than Swedish in general. I've even come across staff that don't speak Finnish at all. They only speak in English. So for example, I was in Turku once and I went to a Fafa's restaurant chain, and the staff there, I think maybe it was a couple, maybe one or two staff there, only spoke English, so they actually didn't even speak Finnish at all. So, that can happen too. And I think Hard Rock in Helsinki also had only English speaking staff, some of them. So that can happen as well. I think the main trouble you might run into is that the street signs and, signs in grocery stores and stuff like that, they will be only in Finnish and Swedish. So the signs are not in English. I think maybe in Helsinki and, airport buses and signs in the airport, things like that, they have more languages. And, I think the buses in Helsinki area now also have English as well. They've started to add English more onto the signs, but I think the vast majority of signs will still be in only Finnish or Swedish. So I think if you're gonna run into problems, that's where you're gonna run into, like, the signs. You might not be able to understand what they mean because they won't have English on them. But again, if you just ask anyone off the street, chances are very high that whoever you ask will be able to understand and speak English with you. So I would say don't let the language barrier stop you from coming, because I don't think it will pose any kind of problem at all, honestly. So especially if you're coming here as a tourist and you're, going to be in Helsinki or other touristy areas, any restaurant you go into, anyone you pretty much pick up off any Finnish person you pick up off the street, that sounds weird, but any taxi driver or people in the service industry, I don't think you're gonna run into the chances that you'll run into someone that doesn't speak English is very slim. So I wouldn't let that worry you too much. So I think I just rambled on a lot longer than this video needed to be, but that is my answer to that question. And let me know in the comments if you have visited Finland or live in Finland what your take on this question is. Let me know what your experience has been with the language barrier in Finland. Was it a problem? Was it not a problem? And what are your thoughts on that? So let me know down below. And yeah, I guess that just about concludes this video. So till next time.